Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. This week, I'm thrilled to chat with singer Effie Passero about her new group, CelloVoci, her time on American Idol, touring with Postmodern Jukebox, and so much more. CelloVoci, the newly formed classical crossover group starring internationally renowned cello and vocal duo Brandon and James, along with powerhouse singer-songwriter Effie Passero from American Idol and Postmodern Jukebox, releases their debut album Happy Days in digital format and on CD Friday, October 11th. Their first single, an epic version of chart topper The Prayer, will be available Friday, September 27th, and we'll play it here before the interview. CelloVoci makes their New York concert debut at Carnegie Hall's Weill Recital Hall on Thursday, October 17th at 8 p.m. Since forming during the pandemic, the trio has toured extensively around the United States, along with several cities in Mexico, and will embark on a new branch of their tour through 2025 and beyond. I'm thrilled to chat with Effie today. She's a wonderful singer, a great interview, and I can't wait for you to hear it.
Watch us where we go, and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace, give us faith so we'll be saved.
La luce che tu dai
I pray we'll find your
nel cuore
light
resterà
and hold it in our heart
a ricordarci che
when stars come out each night.
l'eterna stella sei. Nella mia preghiera
Let this be our prayer
quanta fede
when
c'è.
shadows fill our day.
Lead us to a place,
Guide us with your grace,
give us faith so
we'll be saved.
sogniamo un mondo senza più violenza, un mondo di giustizia e di speranza. Ognuno dia la mano al suo vicino, simbolo di pace, di fraternità. La forza che ci dai,
We ask that life be
il
kind
desiderio che
and watch us from
ognuno
above.
provi amore
We hope it's so we'll find
intorno e dentro sé.
another soul to love.
Let this be our prayer,
Let this be a prayer,
just like every child.
just like every child.
Need to find a place, Guide us with your grace. Give us faith so we'll be safe. Nella fede che hai acceso in noi. Sento che ci salve.
Hello there.
Hi, is this Effie?
It sure is.
This is Les from the TV Dudes. Thanks so much for making time today.
Hi.
Really appreciate
Oh,
it.
for sure.
So I'm super excited to get to talk to you. I've loved seeing you on YouTube with Postmodern Jukebox. You do several of my favorites. There's so many great live sets of y'all out there. But then also getting to listen through the CelloVoci album, like the new album that just dropped today, is so it occupies such a cool space between genres for me. So I was just excited to get to talk to you about your journey through music and all of that. You mind if we just jump right in?
Thanks. Yeah, sure.
Are you in Puerto Vallarta right now?
I'm actually in Philadelphia. I flew in yesterday to meet up with Brandon and James, but then their flight got delayed because of the hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so y'all have Carnegie Hall coming up next week. Is it next week?
Yeah, Thursday.
It's going to be great. Folks in New York should absolutely find a way to get down there.
I know.
So can you talk a little bit about, just for starters, how you and Brandon and James got together, how this project came about?
Yeah. So Brandon and James and I actually met in Puerto Vallarta. I had, I guess in the term, gotten stuck there because I was there in March of 2020 for work, and everything shut down while I was there. And I decided to stay and wait it out. And then by August of 2020, Brandon and James had come down to kind of get away because it was the only country that was kind of open. And so we met through mutual friends and kind of built a friendship first. And then they told me that they were doing these Facebook Live concerts. Musicians all over the world kind of had to figure out how to do that. And so they invited me to start collaborating with them on those. And it just kind of grew organically through that. And it just kind of built and built. And then we started doing live concerts together. And then it just finally came to a head. We recorded this album, and the boys asked if I wanted to kind of make it official and start a whole new project and call it this beautiful name. And I was like, oh, I was so humbled that they enjoy working with me enough that they wanted to do this project. And I'm really excited to see where it goes from here, because I think it's just been a steady climb.
You've sang with some great groups and I mean on stage, on television, just everywhere. What's been particularly interesting for you as a musician or fun for you as a singer to get to pair up with both a really great tenor voice and then also the cello, just the instrumentation of it?
I love the fact that working with Brandon and James is so collaborative. And the cool thing about working with not only a tenor, but James as a cellist, is that it's not working with just one other voice. It's basically working with two different voices. We love being a trio because the cello has its own voice, and James really gets to shine in his own way. So it's not like anyone really overshadows the other. It's all about kind of putting your ego aside and making sure that we blend seamlessly and that we all get our chances to showcase what we're good at. But then I think what is really special about our trio is that we really just seamlessly blend together and shine. I love it.
Speaking of things seamlessly blending together, several of the tracks on here are these just super cool combinations. Besame Mucho and Hotel California. It feels like an even classier, cooler version of like the first time I heard the Gypsy Kings cover. Just like, wow, can that be done to that song? That's amazing. Can you talk a little bit about choosing the tracks and kind of when did the idea come in to kind of merge some of these things or blend some of these things?
Yeah. So Brandon and James have been together for, I think, 10 years, and they've been working together on some of these arrangements for a while. But again, like adding a third person kind of adds this new element to it. So I think they were kind of excited that they had these prearranged, beautiful things, but then adding an extra element on top of that kind of refreshed their ideas. And I loved being able to come in and kind of talk with them about what they would like to hear on some of these tracks. The Hotel California Besame Mucho is a fan favorite across the board. Whenever we play it live, people are like, they chuckle because they're they're taken aback by the combination, but then also the new life that we breathe into the song. Mm-hmm. So I love that the creativity between Brandon and James is endless. It's just, they have such an amazing capacity to arrange these songs and come up with these ideas. And then the three of us together, we just kind of just keep going. There's no ceiling to what the three of us kind of want to create together. I'm trying to think of some of the other songs. We have Chasing Cars in the Roads. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that one. They've been doing that one for a while, and I think it's so stunning. And James comes up with these arrangements that are so beautiful and so touching. A lot of people love The Rose. Obviously, it's a classic song. So whenever we perform that, it means something different to everybody who's in the audience. And I love that those medleys can evoke those emotions depending on what song you connect to the most. It's an innate talent that he has. And so we like to choose the tracks that we felt the medleys were obviously the best and flowed the most. And then we chose tracks that we really felt could evoke really genuine emotions. Something that was refreshing, that people really hadn't heard before, and in a new way that they haven't heard before, even the songs that aren't medleys.
In getting to sing with Postmodern Jukebox, they have such a well-earned rep for taking songs, then matching them up with these other genres or switching up the styles. But I think what always strikes me in the ones that I've seen you get to sing on, or on the live sets that I've gotten to see of y'all, you bring a different storytelling emotion to it as part of the change up a little bit. Yeah. It feels like a deeper thought out thing than just can we switch the style up of this or change the effects pedal on something. Can you talk a little bit about what that's like as a performer to take a song that you may know, and that how the emotion works on it, when Creep comes on the radio, but mm-hmm. you've got to make it your own and make it this new genre, and also the band is just so tight.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little? Were there any particular songs that when you saw them on the list with Postmodern, you went, oh my gosh, we're going to do that? How am I going to do that?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, when I first joined, Scott Bradley, first of all, he's a genius. I had been following them since I was in high school, or maybe it was early college days, but they've been around for a quick minute now. And I mean, I've always just wanted to work with them. So it'll be 3 years in February. It's been a dream come true. I mean, honestly. And so when I showed up to my first rehearsal and I saw that they had me singing Creep, um, I was like, oh God, because Haley Reinhart she is the end all be all of covers of Creep, right? And so I was a little intimidated by that. And I figured, I can't do this straightforward. I can't be Haley Reinhart. I have to be Effie Passero. I have to figure out how to do this on my own and make it something completely different. People are going to compare no matter what, obviously, because that version is amazing. But I am really proud of the storytelling that I've brought to it, and I've made it kind of just desperate and a broken version of that song, and not a version that people are used to hearing. I feel like it definitely brings a wave of emotion over the audience because they're hearing the words in a different way for the first time than they've heard maybe on the radio, or when they've heard Haley sing it. So that one took a while for me to kind of find myself, but I'm really happy with how I perform it. It's definitely it's more of like a theater piece now. I don't really perform it as a rock song or like a ballad per se, but more of like a character piece.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm letting the audience see a little bit of my psyche by performing it that way. And then, of course, when Scott asked me to sing Hallelujah, I was like, oh my God, everyone on planet Earth has sung Hallelujah. So how am I going to do that one and make it different and make it special? And we record the videos first. So the video is beautiful and I'm happy with the end product, but it has evolved so much on stage. Singing it live and singing it repeatedly. Sometimes we're doing 60 dates on tour, and you have to keep things fresh. And the band is really tight, and the band can't really change anything. So it's up to you to really kind of keep trying new things and see what works and see what doesn't. So with Hallelujah now is a completely different song than how I recorded it, and I am really proud of that performance. I really love drawing in the audience and making them understand that is a song about a broken marriage and desperate to bring something back to the relationship, but it's just not going to happen. And by the end of that song, they totally get that. People are sobbing at the end. And of course, I don't like seeing people cry, but I am a musician because I want to help people feel emotions. I feel like it doesn't really happen that much. I'm not really crying listening to the radio or anything. So, yeah, it's a surreal experience to be able to do that every night, for sure.
Yeah, I really can't imagine that that shared vulnerability that you probably touch sometimes with the whole crowd on a song like that. I particularly can't imagine it if you've written the song, and so you both performed your own song on American Idol, but also Simply Happy on the new album. Can you talk a little bit about what songwriting means to you, how that works for you? Do you wake up humming a melody and like Paul McCartney just bother everybody for a week going, did I dream this? Is this a song?
I wish. I used to be really prolific at songwriting, and even if it was bad, I would get it out anyways and write 8, 9 songs a week, whatever. Now I'm a little bit more selective with what I want to sing about and what I want to say. I want to make sure that my words matter and that I'm not just writing about something mundane or overdone. I mean, everyone writes about love, including me. I mostly write about love and heartbreak, kind of like the Taylor Swift of musical theater. Now, Simply Happy, I wrote at the height of a relationship with a guy that I dated a long time ago. So that song has been with me for 7 years now. And it's more or less stayed the same. I've never really that song has never evolved. I loved that song from the moment that I wrote it. And I'm really proud of that little baby. It's probably my favorite song that I've written. Um, and yeah, songwriting is just, it's a way for me to be vulnerable with my audiences. Um, Simply Happy is the first original piece that I've put out in a really long time because I like to think that I write music more or less for myself. And then when I perform it in front of an audience, then I share myself with them. But I don't think of songwriting as something I need to record and put out. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, Simply Happy, I love that song. And I that's a good one because when I perform it live in front of people, if they're with their spouse or even their kids or something, it's really nice to watch people kind of like hold each other a little tighter. Or sometimes I'll notice a beautiful like teary-eyed glance between couples, and it's just like, oh my God, I love that people love like that. And even though that relationship went to hell in a handbag, the song is still, I'm always going to remember that guy because he did make me simply happy for, that time period. And performing it with James, and then at Carnegie Hall with the small orchestra, I'll probably cry during rehearsal because James breathed new life into that song when he added the second voice, and it made it feel like I was. It makes it feel like a duet, like this beautiful, beautiful duet between somebody else. And so it's just beautiful. I love it so much.
That's great. Um, I know you've interviews that I'd read with you that you've sang all your life, that you sang as a kid. You were uh, have always enjoyed doing this. Do you remember the first time that you ever really had to sit down and push past natural talent with your voice and go, oh my gosh, I have to practice this. I have to work at this to get here. Um, what does practicing a really hard piece look like for you?
That's a great question. I guess the first time that it really kind of hit me, I mean, I always had been singing, so I just kind of figured that was the direction my life was going. But when I was 12 years old, my family, we moved back to California from Florida. We've been living in Florida for a while. And my mom entered me into this youth opera program. And I kind of scoffed at the idea of opera, and I hated it. I was like, ew, opera, that's for old people. I don't want to do that. But then the very first program, which was Pirates of Penzance, that I was thrown into the chorus of, um, the lead, Mabel, I heard one of her arias, and I was baffled by how much I liked it. I was like, oh, that's beautiful. I really want to do that. So I went to the director. His name was Buck Townsend, and I said, hey, I wanna play that part. Can I understudy her? And he said, if you really want to, here's the score, and come back in 3 days with that song memorized. And I said, got it. And I went home, and it was so hard for me to figure it out because he didn't really give me any pointers. He just said, go do it. So I just sat. Thankfully, I play piano, so I was able to sit down and plunk it out and learn everything. But it was very much the first time as like a stubborn teenager to be where I was like, man, I really have to practice at this. Like, if this is what I want to do, this is what I have to do. And it was a good life lesson for me to plunk it out. And I did. In 3 days, I came with 2 of her songs memorized. So I got to play the part. It was awesome.
That's so cool. Did that feel sort of similar to being on the competition TV show kind of vibe? That like, no, I've got to go sit down in the room and study this right now. There's real people out here who really, we all have talent. Everybody in this hotel has talent.
Yeah. The competition was different, I'd say, because um, American Idol, they grab from all genres and all walks of life and all ages, So I was one of the older contestants at 26. So I had kind of already found myself, and I was really confident in what I was bringing to the table. And I just felt like I didn't necessarily need to practice. I needed to maintain my confidence and not shy away from being myself, which I feel like so many people feel like they have to mold into, what a network is looking for, or what a record label is looking for. But ultimately, I think it's important for your character just to stick to your guns.
Yeah, I would think it would be difficult to not get in my head about being what I think they want me to be versus the thing they saw that's the reason I'm here, which would be staying myself.
Yeah. Mhm.
Now you did American Idol. Brendan and James, they did America's Got Talent. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do y'all ever have a night of laughing about like the weird differences or the similar experience of it?
We have, and we've like watched each other's auditions and stuff, and it's just crazy, like, because America's Got Talent for Brandon was, I think, 10 years ago or 11 years ago, and American Idol for me was 2018, so coming up on 7, that's crazy. And it's absolutely incredible to see where life has taken us in that amount of time. And the things that we have both accomplished, and then the fact that life has brought us together, and so we've had our nights of laughing, but then also our nights of gratitude, because even though we didn't win, it's not the end all be all. It's kind of a little better that we didn't, because maybe we would have never met.
I think that's got to be such a neat, rare shared thing. There's not a ton of people that have gone through quite that experience in the music industry even. It's just got to be a little bit cool, I would think. Thank you so much for talking. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, for sure. Oh, I was just gonna say, like, there's a few people in the American Idol community. Like, I'm friends with David Hernandez, who was on season 7, I think, and then I'm friends with Blake Lewis, who was like 3rd runner-up on season 2 or 3. And then there's a couple other ones. So like it's not like a wildly shared experience, but like all the people who have experienced it, we get along really well because we have. And it's something that we can all, like you said, laugh about.
Well, thanks again. Have a great rest of your day.
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah, you too. Bye.
TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV Dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.